gonna be me and you. You know, it's gonna be where, you know, I couldn't tell you, but I know that people were gonna get over and, you know, things were gonna happen. And I just said, you know, this is where I'm at. And when Kairos came through, I'm gonna show you how the Lord worked real strong. When Kairos came through, 8 building was on lockdown. And the warden told the deacon, if you're gonna make anything out of this walk, you're gonna get it from 7 building, from G-Pod. You're gonna get it from 1 pod. You know, and back then, I always heard about Kairos, but I wasn't into that. You know, I was into the gang life, we was doing our thing, and I always heard the food, they love you, they're gonna preach you every day, you're gonna be, you know, and I was like, yeah. And at this time, you know, I was facing a charge from another prison, and they laid us all in. Deacon Bertrand laid us all in. Laid a lot of people in. A lot of people weren't going. They were like, man. And I was like, man, I'm ready to go. And I never put I-60. I got laid in. And you know, this Kairos walk is a big deal. And when you put the I-60, it's 42 candidates out of, let's say, what we hold in each pod? 300 something a pod, a building. So you gotta narrow it down, and you go by cases, and you go by when's the last time you had a case. And I had nothing to, there was nothing for me to be expected because of my past history. So, you know, it was like another discouragement, like, yeah, why try, you know. But, you know, when I got that lane, I went down there, and, you know, Deacon Bertrand here had broke it down to me. I already knew more or less what it was, so I was like, I'll go. But, you know, I knew something was gonna happen that weekend. I didn't know how it was gonna affect my life or what, but I knew it was gonna be a change. I was 31 years old, you know. I was already tired of the gang life, you know, just burned out because, you know, we did everything. It was all full, you know, just all the time in trouble. I just got a high security, and, you know, it was just one thing after another. And when I got to Kairos, I was literally just out of gas, you know. I was, you know, in prison, you gotta put up a front. Even when you're hurt, you gotta be the, you know, you gotta be the tough guy. So many people are broken inside. So many people hide from their shame. So many people are depressed. It's a lot. It's a lot of hiding in that penitentiary. It's a lot of fake smiles in there. You got people doing a life sentence that can't carry that burden. You got people doing a 50 that can't carry that burden, but they're doing it day by day. I was doing 25 years, and after I got to that unit, I was, you know, I was discouraged. I did 5 years before I even wrote home. After I came to Christ, I wrote home. But for the first 5 years, I was mad at my family. You know, I felt, you know, I had things when I got locked up. It got dispersed, and I felt like, God, you act like I'm already dead. You know what I'm saying? This is how you gonna treat me. So I didn't write home. My mother was the one who insisted on looking for me, and you know, she came and saw me, and she visited and everything. But when I got to Kairos, I was done, and every day someone greeted us at the door. Every day, you know, you felt love. Every day someone was there. And through the thing, you know, they just shared and shared, and no one put nothing on you. They just shared, and you know, they let it sink in. And by Saturday, I was already feeling all right. You know, I was feeling comfortable. You know, I could come in here, and it was crazy because that was the only place that I can go in there and let my guard down and be free and just talk and cry if I needed to, and go right back and right out that door, put my gorilla suit back on, and go back to 7 building and be the man that I was throughout the hallways. But Saturday night, you know, I don't know what was the chip that broke the armor, but Saturday night, I was feeling good. I was in my cell crying, and I was happy. I was free inside. And you know, I just told the Lord, you know what? You know, I'm done. You know, I don't know what you're gonna do with the mess that I created or how you're gonna work it out, but I'm here, you know, and I accepted the Lord in my life. Amen. And then this still small voice I heard in the background, I love you, Randy. I looked back to the door, and there was no one at my door. So I went to sleep crying. I went to sleep. I was cool. You know, I woke up. Y'all have a 2-minute thing. That don't do enough. Y'all have a 2-minute thing to share a testimony. When I went back to share my testimony, people were giving up their time. They wanted me to finish speaking, you know, because they know the lifestyle that I was coming out of when I told them that I had retired, that I laid it down for my people. And, you know, I seen a big response, but, you know, I wasn't getting it at the time. on Sunday closing, we're all up on stage, and you got your sections on your walks and stuff, and you have the crowd of free will people on each side and stuff. And I'm sitting there, and I'm getting like jittery, like my chest was hurting. I'm like, man, there's something wrong, man. Something wrong with my heart. And my neighbor was like, man, you just scared, big pun. I said, man, I'm not scared of nothing right here. It's church, you know? But I was getting filled with the Holy Spirit. I didn't know that the Lord was starting to do a work in my life. And he started on that platform right there. So at the end of everyone testifying, I went up. I was last and I went up. And I just started sharing. And I was crying. I was angry. But, you know, just releasing it and letting everybody know I'm done. And you have people crying over here, and you have people crying over here. And you had these guys back here crying too. You had a handful somewhere back there crying. I could hear them, but I didn't want to look at them. That was their special time right there. But I did know that, you know, when the Lord touched me and he filled me up, when I started to speak, he started to touch people's lives. He started to deal with the brokenness, or maybe some people felt they had something, like he was sharing about his, and said, golly, I ain't got nothing compared to what that man's speaking of, and here I am having a pity party. But you know what? You know, after my testimony, people were coming up thanking me, and I was like, for what? But see, I was a baby. I was just starting off, and I didn't know the power of what the Lord does in the people's lives through testimony. Mm-hmm. And after that, you know, I started my journey. I was blessed. I went to Beetleville for 2 years. I went for a trade, and I went over there, and I was in Kairos and everything. Everywhere I went, I was in Kairos. But I went to Beetle, and I went back to Hughs to testify what was going on in Beetle. And I went from Beetle, I went to Hughs, to Ferguson. I did 8 months on Ferguson. I went to Culinary Arts. I got a cooking class. And I went back to Hughs. And from there, I went to Eastham, and I went to college in Eastham. You know, and I got my, you know, credits for the advanced baking. And from there, I went to Darrington. But see, I already knew I was going there. You know, when they showed me, I was making parole out of Darrington. And I went to Darrington, and I was blessed. I had been to Darrington 2 times. And both times I was on Darrington, I was on close custody, and I left in lockup. It was, you know, worse to worse, and left. They had to ship me. So when I got back the 3rd time, you know, I went to classification, and the warden was going through my files. And your travel card, this card here, it follows you. So he's got everything from the very first day I entered the penitentiary in 1990. So he flips open my travel card. And he says, San Miguel, tell me what happened right here in 1991. I'm like, 91? You want to go way back that way? It's already 2010. Why are we going that way? So I explained to him the riot that we had in the kitchen, you know, with the police and everything, and what took place. And he was more interested in the violence and everything that was going on and why. So when I shared with him, you know, I had to interject. I said, look, that's fine and dandy. I said, but I'm here on a trade. I came over here as a cook, a main cook to the unit. And this is where I'm at, you know. I already got my GED. I've been case-free for 8 years. I got my college. I'm here as an S3. I'm minimum custody. I'm a star child now compared to when I came in handcuffs the first time. So I said, all I got is one thing for you. Like what? I said, I always want to go to the dorms. He goes, fine, you can have what you want. And, you know, when I went to testify on Darrington, and I told him, look, this is my 3rd time here. This is what's happening. I'm facing parole from here. And 11 months later, I made parole. And I went home. You know, I got home, and like I shared with people, you know, I said, you know, right here, it's the stepping stone. It's just what you do. It's just the beginning of the rest of your life. And you know, there was decisions that I had to make in prison, as well as coming home, and there was decisions you make as a Christian. You know, and I choose to stay on that path. I never forgot what Kairos did. I never forgot. You know, I never took it lightly because it had an impact in my life. And I went home, and you know, I got the doors opened up for work, and I got my tweet card. I was 39 years old when I first got my license, my driver's license, and you know, things were happening. And you know, we were just going to church and doing voluntary things, and you know, I just felt It was time to come back. See, me, I was worried of the downfall because I have known people go back to prison. And I didn't ask them sarcastically, but I would ask them, hey, what happened? Because I'm going to go home. I ain't never been a Christian. What's happening? Because, I don't want to be back here charity that I'm backslid. I'm back in the penitentiary. And then, a lot of times I got more time. I can't do no more than 25 years. I just did that one and I'm done with that. But, I was always guarded. And, there was times where I struggled, I'm in the union, Local 28, and union, we worked the city docks, we worked the ship channel and stuff, and I was tired. I was tired of working. Like you said, the enemy. I never worked all my life. Never worked all my life. I didn't want to work. Wasn't going to work. That's why I did all that time, because I wasn't going to work. 21 years, hard-headed. And I worked with Slogan. I went to the hall. They put me in the union. And I was driving home that day. And I had my nieces BMW. And you got a split. You got a 16 going this way, and you got 225 going straight. And there's a divider. And the enemy told me, now, man, just quit. You want to hit it? Just hit this divider head on, man. Let's be done with it. I didn't really think about that because, I came too far to give up like that. Mm-hmm. But the thing was so strong, When you're on the right path, you best believe the enemy is coming. And I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to end my life like that. I didn't want to tear up her car. And I didn't want to just say I made it through that. It'd be another burn or somewhere else. I didn't want to do that. And I told the Lord, we're going to have to get closer. Because this ain't happening. We're going to have to get a lot closer than this. And, he started opening the doors, I got 3 barbecue pits now, 16-foot trailers. I started on the cooking team. Our team was big, throwing big parties. I don't know if I've ever been to cookout, but we're throwing 40 by 100-foot tents now. Our team, when it got on the scene, it blew up and it was hitting everything you can hit, and it was having the biggest parties. And I know I shouldn't have been there as a Christian because the partying and everything was going on. And I struggled with that. 3 years ago, I made it up to vice president. And I didn't want to do that no more because I didn't want my Christian walk to be opposite of my lifestyle. I wanted to, like they say in prison, practice what you preach. And I sat there and I texted my president and I said, you know what, I'm going to quit. I'm retiring. And I did a lot for that team. I was there from the beginning to the end and in between time. And I sat there in my truck because I was a truck driver at the time. I was driving a truck. And I was crying, but I knew I was being obedient. And I kept saying, you know what, Lord, I know there's still things we got to wean out. We got to wean out. And it's going to be every day. And when we did that, there was more opportunities to come up. When we do benefits, we ask one thing, let us have what we don't feed and sell so I can go back and feed the homeless. Because it's against the law, but I've broken the law so much that I'm really not intimidated by spending a night in jail, you know what I mean? Because when we feed 30 or 60 people that don't have no food, I'd rather go to jail for doing that and I'll explain it to you in your face in the courthouse. Well, I broke this law. But this ministry right here, Night Watchman Ministry, when I was growing up in the penitentiary under the fellowship of the Lord, I used to get, he used to teach me a lot of the prophets, and he was talking about Ezekiel being a night watchman. And when we cook all night, when we get free of our services, when we're cooking 11, 12 hours straight at night, this is where I got this from, because at night, we cooked all night and we gave. And the night watchman, he tells them, well, you know what, this is going to be for my people. And whatever I give you, you give them. And if you don't, the blood is on your hands. So I took this ministry and I put down for that because of the fact that we're still caretakers. Us as an individual, however you may look at it, what you do, it's going to be that chip that you break. You got people that you from all walks of life. What you do, the time you spend, is going to have an impact. It may not be today. There was things that I know for a fact that I did then and labored and prayed and fasted for that may not take fruit, may not get silent for maybe 10, 15, 20 years. But the thing is that we're laboring. Kairos walk a lot of times, I know there's room for discouragement because a lot of times people come in for that 4 days to feel good and they leave and go back to their own thing. But you got some that have changed, and you got some that needed that. Like you said, I just needed something. I needed to hear this like this, but God's always on time. How many times we hear that when he needed that phone call? When we were there, when I'm crying, I didn't know he was crying on the other side of the phone, but when I was just testifying to what the goodness of the Lord did, you do to my life. You know, I'm in a crane now. I'm a crane operator now. I just got certified Wednesday after 723 hours of hands-on. But I have a lot of time to reflect on why I went through the things I went through, like you said earlier. You know, I work now with my dad. But as a kid, I see my dad come home like this. Look at that, I got two-tone. My dad come home sunburned, beat up, tired, dirty, don't want to talk, frustrated. And we weren't poor, we were broke. You know what I mean? It's a difference. And we had a big home, my daddy was paying off, raising 5 kids, had a wife, had a car. I didn't see that as a child. You don't understand them things, bills. And I was like, man, why work? We ain't got nothing. We ain't got nothing. I walk. You know what I mean? I didn't have big old toys growing up. I didn't have nice clothes. I had to steal all that. But I see my daddy work. And I told myself I would never do that. And it's sad because 21 or whatever, 7 years later, I'm working alongside my daddy. You know, to go through life, how the enemy takes you and tries to destroy your life from derailing you from the purpose of what God has in your life. But the thing is, I told my daddy when I was locked up, I wouldn't be the man who I am today if I had went through what I went through and still made it home. You know? I came home and I was blessed because before I went to prison, I worked a couple of months. So when I got home, I was under previously employed. Didn't know that. So every time that they got a raise, I entered that raise. So even though I was locked up and labored in prison, when I got home, I entered their pay grade, and every time they got a raise, I got a raise. So, you know, the Lord worked it out. You know, I make $35, $50 an hour right now with my daddy now. I don't struggle. He knows if I start struggling, I don't know, I might flip out, who knows? But I don't struggle financially, I don't, you know. I'm blessed, you know, I got my own house. I've been in my own house like 2 years already, going on 3 years. Living in a corner house, you know. And I look back, and I always thank Kairos. I always thank the fact that someone that didn't know me took the time to come in here and congregate and set up a plan. And say, you know what, let's go in here and let's do this. You know, and the ministry that I do, and it's normally me and Jen, you know, all the hours that we put in, like last weekend, we cooked 5 brisket and 200 pounds of leg quarters. That's the norm for me. 300 pounds, 400 pounds leg quarters, that's what I do. That's smart to me. And, you know, we give, and sometimes we're discouraged. And I tell her, look, don't even start speaking that. I said, we're not here for nothing else but for what we're doing. We're blessed to do this. We're not here to, you know, we're not here to get a good name. We're not here to look pretty. We're here because we're able to. This was laid on my heart. And it comes back to this, because of what you did. And at the end of the day, you know, I look back because I was always hyper, always in the streets, and now I'm at home. You know, I enjoy my solitude, you know, and I come home and I thank the Lord because of the fact that I should have been dead, like maybe 6 times, maybe, when I sit down and count. And when I reflect back, you know, it's crazy how indirectly you're trapped physically and emotionally and spiritually, and you're trapped and you don't know you're trapped. And you carry that around because you're used to it. And you walk them hallways and you put on that front and you come back to your cell and you by yourself. I knew that for a fact because most of my time in prison I spent in solitary. In my teens and 20s, I spent in lockup, I spent in super seg, I spent in solitary. I can't count how many times I spent in solitary, how many times I spent away, you know? And to come into a place where they gave you cookies and to feed you and just to sit down. Because let me tell you something, a touch like this, a freeway touch, you don't touch like this. You know what I'm saying? There's no communication, there's no feeling, there's nothing like that. In prison, so when everyone started hugging, I was real standoffish. I'm pretty sure Chris remembers, you don't touch me, you know what I mean? It was just, and to come home and to talk to a female, to sit down and talk to a man, or just to want to know the simple things, like what you eat today, you know what I mean? Yeah, I like your clothes, where'd you get them? You know, when you're taken away from society like that, and, you know, you have to readjust. It takes some getting used to, you know. I know Chris can testify to that. You know, a friend of mine is that he did 25 flat years. And I was there when he got home. And I told him, look, there's gonna be some things that you personally deep down inside you're gonna have to deal with. You have to be strong. You have to make up your mind. You're gonna quit and go back to prison and do that revolving door. You're gonna kill yourself, or you're gonna be a productive citizen. And all the time you read the Bible and you went to church, or you're gonna apply that to your life out here. You got free will now. You got options now. You want to sell out and go back, or how you want to do it? You know, I choose to stay home. I choose to be here and to say, you know what? No matter how hard it gets, it can never get harder than what I was. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's the reason why I keep going. And today I drove, you know, all the way this way to share, not just to share, but I still want to be a part of this community, because this is what cracked my armor. You know, when you didn't know me from the next man, this is what cracked my armor. This is what planted the seed to say, you know what, there's something better. There are nice people out there. And when people see me, listen, my truck, when I drive into downtown, they line up already. But I tell them, look, y'all need to get in line. You know, I was raised in prison, so I know how to get this crowd moving. I said, y'all need to get in line, y'all need to hurry up, because it's against the law. I'm not going to jail tonight, let's go. And they'll wake up everybody. I tell them, hey, everyone's got to get up. Not just you, because you're worried about you don't get in no stuck. I got enough for everybody. Go around the corner, wake them up too, line them up, and let's go. I'm in and out downtown like less than 20 minutes. I hit into the freeway, make my U-turn, feed me, and shoot right back out of there. And, you know, same thing. Y'all come in, I'm going to tell you something. When y'all left, I never felt so much loneliness in my life. Because all the happiness, all the fun was gone. And when that fire died down, when I came back to reality, I was alone again. I spoke for my people. I ran that unit right now. But to be alone, to go to bed alone, to wake up alone, to miss your family, to have people give up and walk out of your life. That's an experience that I would never want no one else to experience. But when y'all come back, and share love, it's effective, guys. Some of you may get discouraged along the way, but I'm here to testify that it's well worth it. Your time, your effort, your laboring is well worth it. So if you ever get discouraged, just press in, read a little bit more, fast and talk to the Lord. Because you're in the right place. Sometimes, hey, you know, if you didn't meet no opposition, then you wouldn't be effective. You know, you wouldn't be doing what you're doing. I'm gonna tell you something. Last weekend, some people came to my house who was cooking, and they were from like 2 blocks over, 2 blocks down, a little black church coming up. So they were giving out pastor. So I got to testify with them. And they were telling me that their pastor was in the hospital. I said, well, let's stop, let's pray. There was 4 of them, and me, Jennifer was taking care of the food, and we prayed. And that man came, that was Saturday, and he came to church on Sunday. He was healed in the hospital. And I got to testify on their stage. And then my brother called me, and I had to go to work at 1 o'clock. So when I left church and dropped Jan off, I had to change, and I'm going to work, and it's raining in parts. I'm going 70 or something, 70 miles an hour or plus. And it was like, you know, when you hydroplane, you come from the back end. I'm rolling down the freeway, and something started pushing me head on into barriers. And when I corrected, I come back and they try to throw me off the freeway this way. So I know the enemy didn't want me to testify. I know the enemy wanted to speak up about what the Lord's doing in my life. He tried to kill me on the way to work. Twice, back to back in seconds. And I always look for that because of the fact that I know every time we speak, every time we pray, every time we intercede, when you're praying around the clock, something's going on in the kingdom. Because you're going back and you're taking back lost souls. If anyone can testify as being lost, I was so lost, I don't know how I found that door every day when I was lost. But you know, I'm free today. And I thank God for the commitment that y'all do. And I'm grateful. And you know, this is the fruits of your labor. And keep doing it. If you ever get discouraged, just keep doing what you're doing. Plow and press on. Thank you. Amen.